What a year. A year. Oh, okay, I think we should drum
roll is everything because indeed, what a year.
What a year, Chinatu. What a year, Chidera. A year that has tested us. A year that has inspired us. A year that has shocked us. And shocked. I think this year came with
too many shocks. But for Idea TV, we have shock. Chesters. How did you call that? Okay, we chested it.
And yes, this year has kept us glued to our screens, of course. And we've seen from historic world events to local stories that touch home. 2025 has been nothing short of monumental, but all of these stories we've seen have shaped the year. I call it Big 2025. That's what I like to term 2025. It's Big 2025 for me. And of course, I was not here alone. I was here with my Idea TV. I like to call you people Idea TV Amazons at this point.
Oh, that's so amazing.
It's more like it's a woman's world here on Idea TV.
Really?
Oh, we don't agree with that.
We do. Actually. So we do because we still have, even though we have women sitting here, we have men who are working behind the scenes. So there's a balance here at Idea TV. So we have everybody just working together to get all of that review out there.
So of course, I'm not going to be doing this alone. I am here with you've seen them. My beautiful from
my
Golden Woman.
Golden Woman, that's what a way to say it.
My partner is not in crime,
in
my partner in success.
That's
my partner in growth. My partner in science, in technology,
in research, in everything. Your partner in 2025.
In 2025, and my partner in 2026.
Yeah, yes. And of course, the years later.
And then is it my left?
Can I say my left out, right? Can I say my name? Thank you, my beautiful partner. My name is Chinatu Oji, and it's been such a year.
Okay.
I'm yielding the mic to another melanin popping lady.
This one pops brighter than.
Well, I'm so glad to be here. Chidera Okere. Yes, I'm so glad to be here. And I can't wait for us to start dishing out the things we have because it's been such a year.
Yes.
And so we're starting from January.
Yes. But before that, we have to go on this break.
Okay.
And when we come back, let's see what January
looks like here.
Idea 2025 in review. Good to know that you're still there with us. So let's just go straight to January. So Chinatu Chidera, we kicked off 2025 with Donald Trump's non-consecutive return to the White House. He came back like the second coming of
for the Christians,
more like the second coming of Christ. And he had an indoor inauguration, and it was one that got people talking. Everybody was like, okay, Donald Trump is here again. And I think what gets people talking about Donald Trump the most is because he has a polarizing figure. He's that person that when he comes, first of all, the way he talks, very blunt, very straight to the point. And then with all of his, the lineup of agenda and stuff he, packed and dished out to people this year, from tariff, so many things. Or is it the ban on TikTok? So many things. But then his coming got many people shocked. And then the next thing we saw was Elon Musk.
His bestie, his almost bestie, former bestie.
His right-hand man. I mean, everybody knows Elon Musk. And people were like, okay, a tech guy, a business mogul, okay, what is happening here? But we know that he was with him throughout the election process. He was following him. I mean, they were doing their thing. Twitter went wide. The internet went wide. People were seeing a lot of things. And then, boom, Donald Trump and versus, it was more like Donald Trump versus Elon Musk. What is happening? People were like, okay, what's going on here? We saw the two kind of besties. One is coming out to threaten the other one. The other one is saying this one is saying that, and bestie ship started sinking somehow.
Since I didn't know it was something that is even very interesting. It was the way they both called out each other. So there was one event that they two attended. And people were waiting to see their reactions together. And then Trump just makes his post on his app. And we were all glued to our screen because Donald Trump and Elon Musk have characterized the level of friendship that you can only find in politics. I think that kind of friendship will exist more in politics, because when the game was over, Trump came into power, things did not align the way we thought it will align anymore. And then what happened? Boom. But people said it's like when couples fight. People were waiting that they come back together. Because I felt it I started feeling emotional.
I don't know where they stand.
Yeah, so we don't know if Elon Musk and Trump are back, but that was what January looked like for Elon and Trump. Yeah. But I think I wanted to add something about Donald Trump coming back into power. I do not think that I was one person who knew he was going to win. You needed to hear his manifesto. You needed to hear him debating. And that's why I enjoyed the elections in America. They carry the audience along and, they're speaking and responding to questions. You can almost tell that this person knows what he's about to do. So when I heard his submissions, I just knew that it was a no-brainer. He was going to come back. So it was easy to just know that he was going to win. And there's something that he has done consistently. He stood on business. There's nothing that's happening now with Trump, his policies, his agenda that is new. These are things that he stood with and he said he was going to do. So when people ask surprised, you knew this man. He did not change. Nothing changed about Trump.
Comes out with all his
energy, everything. So yes, I think his return to the White House was in that January. It was all over the internet, fire. I think one of our lecturers then asked us to write an essay about the election. Then I was like, how? Why? Where is this now? It's not in our syllable.
It was happening in the world, so they wanted you guys to
come. And then we needed to start.
What do we say about?
We had to start writing about the amount of votes for him and his
number of votes.
Exactly. We started writing, and everywhere people are just posting him all over TikTok. The man of the people, the man of this is going to win. He was just everywhere, and then, like you've rightly said, he's just that man. We know anytime he shows up like this, we are expecting something very huge, something very strong, something very striking.
Yeah, because there are some journalists that he has had issues with. Let's not even lie. There are some interviews you see that he has with journalists, and he's saying some things to them, and you're wondering, and
tomorrow,
and I don't even know. So he's just telling, no, you're not well trained. Just go out. He says those kind of things to a journalist.
Sometimes it's the way he talks for me.
Yes, I think he makes me laugh. I like watching his video because he makes me laugh. But then again, we can see where he has taken America to in terms of technology. This is one president I admire in terms of his concept about leadership. No nation has it all in their leadership. But you see Donald Trump, when I say he stands on business, look at what he did with TikTok. He's very business-minded. And every single thing that he's doing, people may say it's coming from a selfish place, but it's coming from that capitalism mindset. Let these people win. Let my people win first. Let us have it enough. If we must share, then we must have enough before we can share. That's the mind he's working with. So it's not a surprise. That's why you see him pushing for, when he asked TikTok to be banned, it wasn't that he wanted it to be banned totally. He wanted a business. He wanted it as a business. He wanted it regulated. He wanted a proper partnership. No wonder he called most of the big tech guys, Mark Zuckerberg, was OpenAI guy, all of them came together. All of them, the big ones, came together at the White House, had a meeting with him, and he ensured that you people are not just operating people are not having access to your social media in our country. What stake do we have as a nation? That was one of the things he did that I really loved in January. And you see, look at America today in terms of technology. I mean, other things may be happening, especially look at the visa restrictions.
Why do you think people were protesting against him coming back to power? Because a lot of people protested in New York. We saw protests in London. That is not even in the America. That is not even in the USA. We saw protests, and even down to Nigeria. Some people we took sides. I think the whole world took sides. Some people were like, okay, we want him back. Some people were like, he's too religious. Some people were like, Republican cannot, do a thing. He's not a Democrat, so we need a Democrat. We're in a democratic society. People were just saying a lot of things, but a lot of people saw him in person, as an authoritarian, as somebody, because we enjoy the way he talks and all of those things. But then when we look at it from the other side, what some people might be saying may not completely be wrong. But then I like that stance that being selfish sometimes is not all that bad, as long as it's for the good of your country. People. But we saw that different. Everybody took sides, and then there were protests. But how is this regime so far? You say, and what do you say? What can you say about this regime?
So the first question you asked is why people were protesting. It's very simple. Everybody has their favorite candidate. So I may not like your candidates. Our ideologies may not match. It may not align. And so it's very natural for me to pick the person I want to pick. So there were people who didn't like Biden too. There are people who like Biden. So as long as you are a leader, you are a president, there are people who do not like you. Come back to Nigeria. There are people who like the president. There are people who do not like him. But whether you like it or not, he is the president. So that's
why people voted.
So people voted. Yeah. So
Nigeria, people voted. Okay. And let's talk about something that brings us closer to home, and that's the Rwanda and the M23 war, Rwanda and Congo. The drag where they were dragging for land and whatnot. It was more like a should I say? Well, how would I term that war? Because they are not far off each other. They have a border, so they were fighting for land. I'm trying not to call it a communal war. Kind of, because it seemed like that. It seemed like they were fighting, and that war, I think it carried on for a while. Because 2025 is not the first time that is happening. It has started since way back as 2014 and whatnot, and now coming down to 2025, we're seeing this war resurface again, and I think 2025 reminded us or brought us back to many wars, many misunderstandings, and a lot. There was a lot of war cases, war issues on the headlines, and then from there we now see back to the USA again. Deep what do they call them? Not back to the USA, but it somehow goes back to the USA because then there were a lot of bans and whatnot. But then we saw something big came out of the technological sector. Something big came out, something very innovative, which is DeepSeek. And I know we talked about it a lot here on Identity. We even had somebody talk about it on the Morning Digest.
I just remembered how we went that day and how the Chinese people were able to do what OpenAI could not do in the shortest possible time with a very limited resources, because I can't remember the exact figures right now, but the money they had spent in executing the DeepSeek AI project was very low compared to what other AIs used. And the time was so short, and so what did we start hearing? We started hearing some controversies like, are you sure it's real? Your data is not safe. And
if you ask it this question, it doesn't give some certain facts about
so some
China,
people also thought it was propaganda. But I mean, we have black and white propaganda. Yes. So it felt like, oh, this seemed too good and too real. Can we talk it down?
Shook tables in the US.
Shook tables. Oh my goodness. It was a lot. I know that we kept talking about it because almost every news we took here, somehow DeepSeek AI had to play out. DeepSeek AI just had to play out.
Still talking about technology, the TikTok ban, where Trump came out and said, we don't want TikTok again. I can remember when people were crying.
Teenagers protested. They were not happy.
They were crying seriously online. I was like, So that's what we see when we talk about that AI is now one with us. Technology is now one with us. Just the other day we were talking about somebody that got married to an AI. I mean, she found a heartthrob, a companion.
I should ask there.
I can.
She created her man from ChatGPT.
In as much as I like what I do with AI or what it can do for me, but then I don't think I want to make partner with
never
AI.
did lonely.
You never can be so sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure that lady had this to say too.
Oh, really?
Until she started conversing with AI.
Getting emotional support
and
all of that.
Because now she's not defending the marriage that is not out of depression or loneliness. that she found a companion.
A depressed person doesn't even know that they are depressed, though.
Exactly.
It's like a mad person. Not the mad people think you're the ones who are mad. That is going mad. Exactly. Let's look at this.
To February now, and February was a mix of pop culture. It was a mix of, you know, diplomacy. We saw economic tensions. We saw trade tensions. We saw a lot of things, you know. Still, TikTok saga again brought that attention to us, and then politics. Yes, politics. JD Vance and Mike Watts, you know, were tasked with overseeing the platform sale of TikTok. I mean, TikTok shook this year, I cannot lie. From January until now that we are seated here, TikTok did a lot of things. So there was this war between the creators versus the users, between even political figures, because people were scared. I remember India, Kenya, the US, and some other countries had to ban TikTok. Yes, they had to ban TikTok, especially in Kenya. They had to ban TikTok because, according to them, it was they were showing some explicit and vulgar videos or content for children, which was not good for children. And then TikTok had to come out and say, this is it, this is it. Why I'm laughing is because what came to my mind was when the TikTok boss, what's his name, was defending TikTok, and then they kept referring to him as a Chinese person. And it was like, is it everybody that has this type of face that refer to as a Chinese? I'm not a Chinese person, I'm a Japanese and what? But then with Gaza war, it's war, one security issue or the other.
So the other, yes.
Yes, and in Gaza there was a fragile ceasefire that led to hostage releases. You know why? Then again, it's like we are shuffling between economic tensions, war, economic tensions, and if we look at it very well, they are not far-fetched. They are not far from each other, because when there is war, of course, economy is going to shake.
Yes.
Food will not be there. Nothing, and it's going to shake the whole world. The war in Ukraine between Ukraine and Russia is shaking the whole world. We are seeing that every day. Nigeria, the prices of fuel in Nigeria is going up and down, so it's shaking the whole world. So I guess that's what was bringing that economic. And then there was economic tension between Canada and Mexico, and we know why. Trump's tariff. Trump shook this 2025 shot.
Really?
Trump tariff came, and we saw Mexico trying to go up and down. Canada. Then I remember when Canada, I think Trump named the Gulf of Mexico as America. And then when he was dragging, Canada, the land between Canada, and Canada couldn't say much at that point in time, because somehow they are under, the US. They are not as strong as the US. They can't stand alone like the US and other countries. And then there's Mexico there that is sharing a border with them, and they need to. So all of this, and of course Canada too is sharing a border with them. So I think he really shook. No. He shook Canada, he shook, what do they call it, China, no, but China can obviously stand on their own. And then to something more entertaining, that is, when there is chaos, sometimes we just need some certain relief, and then the Grammy came. Yes, and then this was a big talk. This was a big talk because Kendrick Lamar walked away with 5 awards. And it's not because he walked away with five awards. He walked away with 5 awards for a diss track to Drake.
Yeah, I was going to say that, but I just remember one diss that I cannot forget off of, Drake too. Drake referred to Lama as a size 7.
Yes.
I've never been so hurt by a diss. Like when Drake said that he's a size 7. He doesn't listen to a size 7. So you look at the whole man and you say he's size 7. His shoe size is 7. Do you understand? So it's like, it's a baby fit.
And then Kendrick came out with his drums and
it was such an exchange. It was such an exchange.
And that track was big. Very, very
They're
big.
not like us. They're not like us. They're not like us.
And then we saw the queen of hip hop. The queen of
Beyonce,
the queen of, I don't know if she's just the queen of hip hop, she's the queen of R&B too, and every other thing around music, especially when it comes to the whole world, not just the USA. And it's not because she took home album of the year for Cowboy Carter. There was some sort of tussle, like how many times is Beyonce going to win a Grammy. And people were beginning to think that some people have monopoly on some of these certain awards. Some of these awards, some people have, you know, upper body or connection, or more like are they buying it. So we saw videos resurfacing because there was a time I think Taylor Swift was supposed to get an award, and then her reaction, people started bringing all of those videos, and we were like, because when she got this one, she was like, it was more like,
it's normal.
It's normal. I saw it from that aspect, like it's normal. But some people were seeing it from another aspect, like, yes, it's our thing, if not me.
Like as though she was expecting.
Yes, because her husband came out one time to, you know, he dragged the award organizers for not giving Beyonce an award. So it's more like, if Beyonce don't get a Grammy, nobody will. So that was what made this news trended that period. People were like, okay, she has gotten it again, and okay, it belongs to her. And still in February, like I said, February was all about drama, you know, deals, beats, a whole lot of things. But then we have to move to March. March reminded us of how small, you know, we are in the face of nature. We saw the A 7.7 magnitude earthquake in Boma that killed over 2,000 people, with cities like Mandalay was devastated as well. And then aid, we have to talk about this. Aid was hampered by changes in the US. We saw foreign aid, you know, yes, and it affected Nigeria. It affected most especially South Africa, because they relied on the US for medical aid for
especially HIV.
Exactly. And then coming down to Nigeria, that brought a lot of debate. I remember we talked about it a lot on the Idea Morning Digest, and we were just asking questions. We always ask questions on the Idea Morning Digest. We were just asking a lot of questions. How people were asking a lot of questions, but I believe I remember you said something about this is like a call to action for most African countries to become independent. You get, and stand alone, and, you know, begin to innovate. And that's why when we talk about innovation on Idea TV, that's where innovation comes in. When cases like this arises, is for us to begin to think. That's innovation. Begin to think of new ideas and new ways we used to be self-sufficient as a country. So I think it sparked a whole lot of questions, because African countries were asking where they were going to get aid from, where they were going to get, you know, especially medical, you know, support. And we like what is happening now with the traditional medicine and who. Yes, this is where when I hear stories like that, innovative ideas like that, I tend to refer to moments like this where we have to struggle and start thinking, who will help our life now? How are we going to do? And then we see moments like this arising. It means that something shook our, you know, bodies more, and now we are not thinking of how to taking action more. So
I think it just reminds me about how much we can achieve if we stop looking out for aid. I think we've always been too dependent. And it's not even that we've always been too dependent. We've been raised to be dependent on foreign aid. So much so that we do not even know when we can stand on our own. So when US aid stopped, when all of those most foreign aids now had, you know, been frozen from coming into African countries, it affected people. Were out of jobs. I remember that some of the people I knew who had to work with USAID, they were no longer working. People were retrenched, people were recalled from duty, and it took us back to the drawing board. And I'm saying back to the drawing board because I'm hoping we really have gone to the drawing board. And if we have, I want to start hearing conversations around research centers that we are looking into. Antiretroviral drugs. We are also looking into what we can do for some of these deadly diseases on our own. How can we now, you know, catalyze what we have in the traditional medicine? How can we look back into our health system and develop things for ourselves instead of relying on foreign aid all the time? Because that was why we felt that heat. It stopped. And the truth is, when you're dependent on people too much, they have the real power. They can decide when they ask you to go. They can decide when they ask you to stay. And the problem with that is you live other people's dream. And so they tell you, this is what we want to fund. You have an idea. You say, okay, maybe it's not, let's say in Nigeria now, it's not just HIV that's a problem. It's not a primary problem. Maybe it is measles. I'm giving an example. But they tell you, no, it's not what we want to fund. We want to fund malaria. We want to fund this. We want to fund polio. What do you have to do? You would obey, because what you're interested in is getting the aid. And so it was such a big blow, but looks like we're adjusting. However, we are now seeing news about how expensive some of those medications are. People are spending so much to get medicines that they got for free. I know because my mom worked as a DOT provider, so for some people who had tuberculosis, and they were giving those things for free. But now, even as a focal person, to access those things are not even possible anymore. So this is a call again to action. Even though we are reminiscing, this is another chance for us to see what can we do better in 2026. That's why we are doing this review. This was why we missed it, but what can we do in 2026?
What can we do in 2026? I think we'll hold on to that. Our viewers are going to hold on to that. And then April came with its own. Months of loss, months of, transition.
Many transitions.
You're transition. Okay, months of transition. So it's more like a month of transition, and in Nigeria we saw that rural violence surge, conflict between farmers and herders. When we thought it was over, then we saw it again. Over 170 lives in Plateau. I mean, it was very disturbing at that time. Plateau and Benue, these are states in the middle belt in Nigeria, and I mean, I cannot say anything much, but just to, there's so much is it empathy when I talk about this issue, because this has left these people until as we speak. I think the US envoy came to Nigeria, and still in Nigeria, and they visited, before they went to any other place, they visited Benue State first, and they're like, people are still left in
shanties,
what do they call, camps?
IDP camps.
Yes, in IDP camps. There are so many people without houses, so many people without food. I mean, they have destabilized families, they have disrupted livelihoods, and it has caused a whole lot of things, so many. And then we talk about climate pressures, because these herders do not really know what some of these unnecessary and illegal grazing can, cause. Before we even get to the killings, we are talking of, first of all, you are degrading land. Secondly, you are killing people, and we are losing manpower. So many things, and it causes a lot of economic pressure on Nigeria. So when we even talk about inflation in Nigeria, I'm like, don't we see these things? We are battling with climate change, onion prices. I remember it was during this period that they say
it affected everybody.
I think I did a video about onion prices for climate change, and like at this time, if onions does not make you cry,
really,
then it's going to make your pockets cry. So I mean, it was a whole lot that period. People battle. Onions became gold. I remember people would put memes and say the new gold in Nigeria, the new exchange value, the new whatever is gold, and now it's even ginger. But it's like it's now. When it comes to food, it's now coming down. So I think these were some of the causes of inflation. This issue really challenged Nigeria, and until now I still think it's a challenge for Nigeria, but this is just us saying we should do better for 2026. 2026 is just
in 2 weeks, in less than 2 weeks,
than 2 weeks time, so we should do better for 2026. And then, very, very big story here. Globally, the Vatican experienced a historic transition. Pope Francis, passed away on April 21st at 88. And I'm smiling because this is somebody I've never met him before. I wish I met him before he died, but I just like him. I think he's my person. He's my kind of person because I followed his story. I watched him. I've watched his movies. I've watched documentaries about him. I've watched him talk, and he's that jiggy person. He's not our typical, it's not that typical religious father or something that people would want to. You wouldn't want to not be yourself around him. And when I got to know about his story, I got to understand that Pope Francis was a jiggy man, was a man in the life first, and no wonder he has this. And he likes football. Even if I don't like football, I think he made me started falling in love with football. Not like I do not like football, but it's not something I just go to. It's not my go-to sport. But then at the end of the day, I think watching him and seeing how he enjoys sport, how he relates with people, how he was with people, and when he died, I was like, oh, my friend, my friend is dead. But yeah, we heard a lot about him as at then, and this was not. It wasn't just because of his death, because he was sick. He died because he was sick, and people were like, who is now going to be the next Papa? That is the next Pope. Who is going to be the next? So many debates arose at that time. Before he even died, he had been in the sickbed for a while, and people were just guess, is he going to make it? Well, I was like, at 88. 88 is not that, but he has tried. He has
tried,
lived his
really,
life from
88 years
1936 to 2025. He has lived the life.
I dare say he lived a fulfilled life, and
indeed.
You could see in all of the tributes, you could see in all of the testimonies that followed his passing, people revered him. People saw him as an icon, as an epitome of the life of Christ. That people, when people say, "Oh, I'm a priest, I'm a pastor," we expect a certain level of character. And Pope Francis did it for a lot of us. He did it, and in the way he communicated with people who are unbelievers, in the way he mixed up with the crowd, it was really beautiful, and which was what really the Bible recommended. You know, mix with the people, talk with the people, relate with them, and he just showed us he was not discriminatory. I think that was what I liked about him more. He was not discriminatory. I saw videos of him with children. It felt like, oh, you can come to daddy, you know, that kind of thing. Children ran to him. You see videos of him with football stars, you see videos of him with certain people, and it just made it beautiful to say that. Oh,
I think it was in the contract. I think that's his free.
It became, it also became
around him, because I think he made a statement regarding
LGBTQ
people, yes, and then people were like, "What are you suggesting? What are you trying to push?" But who knows how to live life better? I mean, we are just human beings, and we are.
I like to also say this: for all of us, it's our first time in this life. It's not like we've lived before, so we're all just trying
how to help
learning.
people to live their life. Exactly. I mean, anybody that wants to be anything, I always tell people at the end of the day, just be a good person.
That's
be a good person to others too.
I want to hear Dara's. Have you followed Pope Francis' life? Well, is that one thing you've learned from him?
Well, the truth of the matter is, until I saw people posting about him on my WhatsApp status and all of that, I was like, who is this man that's just dead? Because I'm not from a Catholic background, so it was that period I started reading about him, and then I can tell for sure that he lived a very good life here on earth. He lived a very good life. And then I heard many things about him, which people have just mentioned. So I think it's a good one. The fact that he lived a good life. And then he tried at 8 years old.
8 years old. That's, yes. I mean, that's...
But he was so agile.
What year would you like to stay? What's
150.
100 is enough. 100 is enough.
Okay, and then May came upon us. Yes, it was tense with Indian-Pakistan clashes in Kashmir. The worst cross-border violence in decades, raising fears of nuclear escalation. And you know, first of all, before the Indian-Pakistan, after the Indian-Pakistan tussle was one for the books. Yes, I cannot. I think 2025 has maybe...
Has that tussle even ended?
It
hasn't ended. It's just on the low.
That will enter history books for sure.
Many coup happened in Africa.
So many
wars.
So many things. And after that, in Pakistan again, was when I think youth came out, went to their their prime minister's house, and they took her clothes. They entered her house. They took all of her properties in the house, and people carted away with it. Which country was it? Same India that granted her asylum for some time, and a whole lot of things happened around India, Pakistan. That Asian side of the war, and then. Yes.
That period kind of showed us or reminds us or tells us how fragile peace can be. Imagine two countries, two neighboring countries having such kind of issue. And what really stood out in that story was not about the jets, it wasn't about everything that they were using for that strikes and the clash. It was the fear that it came with. And people were like, what people talked about mostly that time was... is this just a warning shot? Or what? Is this how we are going to continue living and all of that? It's just since 1947, I guess, they've been having this clashes. It has been a long
war, because that war is, it's not even just, I mean, that war emanated from the whole idea of their caste system rather. So it's more like you do not, if some certain people that are from like southern India, and most of those people are the people occupying Pakistan. So, and Pakistan and which other country? close to them. So when you are from that part of that Asian side, there will be like, okay, you are a caste, and so it's more like, don't come to what do they call it in the Igbo land? Is it Asusu or so, Asua or or something like that? I remember that. Is it in Imo State or which state of recent? They just ended that kind of rift, and it only reminds us that these kind of things are not good. It will alter many things. It will alter livelihoods.
And it affected the civilians more.
Yes,
at that time it did.
Yes, it did. And okay, let's just talk about because after Pope Francis death, they have to get a new pope. They have to elect a new pope, and that was when the formal inauguration of Pope Leo the 14th happened on May 18, and that marked the official start of his pontificate. Yes, he started ruling there. And what made this really big is that, first of all, the debates that came before his emergence. So now we're talking about June, Chidera. Something happened in June. We saw the US, struck Iranian nuclear sites. They were urging China to prevent the closure of Strait Hormuz, a key global oil passageway. And this shook the world economy again.
Yeah.
What happened in June?
So that story really shows us how interconnected the world is. Imagine something that happened 1,000 kilometers away is affecting you down to your fuel station. You can imagine that. So it was kind of a suicidal mission, if at all that waterway was actually blocked. And to show you how tense that was, the US had to talk to China or urge them to stop Iran from blocking that pathway. So you can imagine for US to go to that, exactly, because they feel like China has a little influence over Iran.
It's having influence on almost every country.
Yes, so for US to go to that extent, it shows how serious that issue was and how it was going to affect the economy. Generally, the whole world is going to affect.
I think that's what brings us closer to home.
Okay.
Yes, something very, very, can I say it was a time of mourning for Nigeria, and Nigeria mourned the former president Muhammadu Buhari.
Yes, in July.
Yes, in
13th.
July. Yes, he died on the 13th of July, and I was wondering why was his the news about his passing away trending, and he is another polarizing figure again. If I should put it that way, he is another polarizing figure rather, and people. I remember here we paid a tribute by discussing about him on the Idea Morning Digest. We said a lot, about his passing away, his legacy, so many. His legacy in particular was what even sparked debates around the country and around the world as well. And that takes us to August. Yes, August was a month of contrast. Yes, and it's still war. It's like war filled this
year, seriously.
25 when Israel Gaza invasion. I think that was when it started hitting the most this year. It started since January, but it started hitting the most in August, and then UN started complaining about a lot of things, about not being able to give them aid continuously again. I think that was just a move to kind of halt the war once and for all, but it didn't happen. The war is still on somehow, even if we don't hear about it. But on a brighter note now, August meeting, Igbo women. Seriously. Yes, Igbo women. What happened? What happened about we know the August meeting thing.
I didn't travel home because the August meeting is mostly for the married women. Married Igbo. You have to be married. You have to belong to the one community meeting. And then they have those women meeting at that group, this at that group. But it rocked everywhere, and it was so beautiful. Now the Gen Z women who are married came up and said, no, we cannot be doing that style. From their style of scarf
to their rappers. Everything was lit. It was different this time around. That's why, imagine saying
it was giving innovative.
It was giving how do you say clocking? It was giving a very innovative vibe.
Right.
But I think I want to talk
about. That's why Maggie came out. Maggie, that's the brand, came out and said we have to sponsor this thing.
Really? Yeah. So I think with that, I want to talk about what happened in September because it really excites me to see that we had the UN General Assembly, the 80th UN General Assembly, and there were a series of conversations from AI governance to climate to sustainable economy, and we had Nigeria. It wasn't the president who attended, the vice president Shetima attended, and so we saw some conversations around AI, and one of the conversations that really struck the African space was, why don't we have a voice in the Security Council? Why don't we have a representative in the Security Council? So many African presidents came, gave their recommendations, and I'm hoping that that is considered. I'm hoping that happens, but that was really what rocked September 2025. And again, Hilda Bassi, they did something around the Guinness World record with the largest pot of jollof rice in Lagos, and it weighed about 8,780 kilograms. So, and the record came confirmed in September. So people were so tired of eating. There was food everywhere, literally. People were tired of eating. You know how they say...
It serves you the next day.
So the next day, and the food wasn't... And people just got tired of eating.
Yes.
Yeah, people got tired of eating.
But there was some sort of debate too around this. People were saying, was this not waste of food?
Economy.
Because that food stayed till the next morning, and she took it to the street and she was serving
people. She was looking for people to...
Am I going to collect a food that came from yesterday, was in the open, and flies, everything must affect. But then,
first of all, there's the celebrity vibe. So because it came from Hilda Bassi, you want to take from her. If it came from Chinatu now, you'll be asking twice. But what happened in October, Cynthia?
Okay, October, Tanzania's election. So many protests.
This woman.
So many tussles. So many democratic issues, so many of them. And, there wasn't a guarantee for either the citizens or even the president herself, because Salau came out and I think it was 98% of votes went to her. And people were like,
how? We don't want her.
That came out to vote. Was it you, China?
We don't want her.
It wasn't me or Cynthia that came out to vote. Then who came out to vote? And they were like, citizens were saying it was illegal. And then she was like, it's legal, and then she kept on, advocating
locking
for peace.
Some people. People were locked
up.
The
way which they advocated for the peace was not even nice. Curfew, they had to put off the internet.
There were people who lost their lives. Many of hundreds of people lost their lives.
There was a whole push for peace.
And I think what really made me a bit disappointed was the fact that she's a woman. I'm a gunner for a woman being in leadership positions. But we now saw her come in. She came in, and the way she took over power was very unprecedented. It's not like, she took over from somebody because the person handed over in some way. And then we were expecting so much. We're expecting a lot from her. And then she comes in and does even what some men could not do. And not in the good way, but she showed so much action, more of masculine vibe, And so you now realize that leadership is not a gender war. It's not a gender thing. If there's anything that the Tanzanian president has taught me, is that leadership is not about gender. You do not use your genitals to lead. It is what you have upstairs. It is the experience we've been able to gather. So a man can be evil, a woman can be evil. So let the best brain always win.
I think we're coming down closer to the end of 2025, and we are here in November. Summits and acts. November was packed with a whole lot of things, with summits, with milestone achievements. We saw the EU and AU summit in Rwanda, that's in Angola, and that was the first African and then also we saw the first African G20 hosted in Africa, which happened was held in South Africa.
For the first time.
And that's the first one that was held by in an African country. And then we saw, but that brought some issues as well too, because there was this contest with USA attending and President Donald Trump was saying he wasn't going to attend because of the Afrikaners. That's the whites, South Africans there. They're dragging some. There have been some land issues since 2014 or 2015, if I'm not mistaken. So it was like he do not like the way white Africans in South Africa are being treated. So he was like, because of that, he finds that as racist. He's not going to attend the summit, and no delegates from the US are going to attend that summit. And South Africa was like, okay, more like a go to hell kind of reaction. Okay. We don't care. Ramaphosa is the president of South Africa. He has boju too. So there was that tussle there, and then a whole lot of things. But then we thank God the what do they call it? The summit, the G20 summit was a success. Yes, it was a success. Even if US came back and said that wasn't their issue, they just felt like they said a whole lot of things. They always have something to say about something. But then we saw innovation came out of that. It talks about AI, talks about how we can move forward in Africa, about climate change, climate financing most especially, because a lot of group came out to, carry placards and protest against so many things, especially South African women, and that's where you see the power of women. And then to Kenya and the US, they signed a health agreement with aid. So they have been signing so many agreements to talk of, and of recent, they have even signed another one with Rwanda, and we've seen a whole lot of signing, especially against malaria, tuberculosis, and polio, even in Nigeria as well. But then let's come down to
December.
So we've taken it through January, February, March, April, and all of these stories have made 2025 what it is. It has made 2025 that year. It has made 2025 that big year. It has made 2025, no matter how we see 2025, we've seen the good, we've seen the bad, we've seen the ugly, and here we are. All we can say is just that we are here and we are giving glory that we have seen this day. So we're in December now. Things are still happening. Things that started happening even from the beginning of the year, carried through until this month. But we're seeing a lot of things happening. Chinatu, what is happening in December?
First of all, we saw one of the things that shook us was the attempt in Benin, where we saw that soldiers announced the removal of President Talon. However, that didn't last for a period of time because the government was able to quickly resolve the issue, and he was reinstated back. And it raised a lot of questions, and people keep asking. Many African countries are going towards coup. And I know that what we've said on Idea Morning Digest is, and this is also a way of encouraging you to tune into the Idea Morning Digest, because we discuss a lot of things there. And what we really saw there was, in many countries where this happened, it was because they had issues with their leadership. The government was speaking a language that the citizens did not understand. And so until we're able to come to terms with what our people want, not what we think they want, then we have a lot of things to do. But we also saw the ECOWAS air ticket tax removal, which is going to be effective from 1st of January 2026. It's a good news to see that ECOWAS is now able to scrap air ticket taxes in order to boost regional integration. And we also saw Wole Soyinka critiquing Tinubu's heavy security deployment. The convoy was long, and we were wondering what is happening. Is it president?
Are you above the law?
President or president's son? Are you the president?
Are you the president?
Hey,
who are you?
So and it was good coming from.
Do you know?
I'm telling Cynthia, you know why this was very important to me? Wole Soyinka has in some way spoken good about this government. Supported some of the policies, and so it was a good thing that I saw that balance, because people were already saying that, oh, Wole Soyinka is always supporting this man, he's supporting, yes, people started saying it in that light. But when he spoke up about the Tinubu's case, people saw a balance. And that's what I want. I do not believe that I should not call out a behavior because it's favoring me. I think that the good of the people should be over whatever personal interest I have. And so it is our country, and if things are not going well, we should call it out for what it is, not because of my personal gains. And that's what Wole Soyinka did. And of course, we saw that we also had Nobel Prize awards in December. And again, we also saw a very crazy level of insecurity escalation in Nigeria. We are ending this back home, We saw things happen in Kwara, we saw things happen in Plateau, we saw things happen in Niger State, in Benue, and we have in Kogi. So a lot has happened on our roads, and just today, we're talking on IMD about how transport has become so expensive. So much so that people have to spend 91,000 to 100,000 on road. Dera is not by air.
Yes.
They're spending this money by road. And I was just telling Cynthia, it's not like the vehicles are bulletproof buses. If you throw a stone from outside, it will still hit your head. So why are you hiking the price? It's not that fuel. We're just reading the news today, and the price of fuel is actually dropping to 739. So what is your excuse? What is it? So you say that,
and it's not like the road is safe as well.
That's the problem. That's the excuse.
That's the excuse.
Really?
That's the excuse. The road is not safe.
So hiking the price to that extent,
how safe does it make the road?
Because if you check now, the road from Lokoja to Benue State is blocked. It's choked up. And day before yesterday, my mom was telling me that she will not be able to travel again because they said there are kidnappers on the road, Enugu side. So people are just packed at the back. They don't want to move to the front. They don't go to the back. They are just stuck there.
Where Christmas will happen.
So why the hike? Why the increments in?
So that's what I was saying. That if you're very interested in fixing the problem of insecurity as a transport company, deploy good technology.
Yes.
Have conversations with the security personnel and have good relationship. You see how sometimes we see our security personnel on the road and they're just interested in taking the 100 naira, 200 you give them.
Exactly.
And not checking the bus. They are the good officers, but then we cannot take our eyes off, except we've not traveled by road. We see some of them who, the moment you give money, you can drive past.
Yes.
And so those are the things they should be worried about. What can they do to create that balance, to create that sanity on the road, and not allow innocent passengers to pay the price of insecurity? So I'll spend money and you still kidnap me.
Exactly.
I don't understand. You guys.
I mean,
it's a whole lot, really.
Because I was just trying to take in everything that is actually happening in Nigeria. And something we even forgot to talk about was Nigeria being designated as country of particular concern. That one, I think it should be the biggest story this year.
From November, December.
This is not the first time that Nigeria has been designated as country of particular concern, but then...
they've seen us as underdeveloped nation. Third world country. Zoo nation.
But
now it's particular concern.
Are we really country of particular concern?
Oh, yeah, insecurity.
Yeah, the insecurity is
because the tag...
not being...
The tag... Because the basis on which they are dragging it is that we are a sovereign nation, so you cannot refer to us. But as a sovereign nation, how are your people faring? There are critical questions that we must ask as our leadership, and we must ask as citizens. For you to be a sovereign nation, you must have your laws working for you. It means you have your rule of law. It means you have a stable government. It means you have a working economy. There are certain things that come together to make sure that you are a sovereign nation. You know?
Exactly.
And then people are dying. Of course, they're a sovereign nation, but what are you doing as that sovereign nation? Why do you need intervention? I'm not saying that countries cannot come in. I mean, we've done it in the past to other African countries. We've gone into Niger to help them during their fight. So we've gone to other countries that we cannot start listing now. That's not the problem. But you are the giant of Africa.
Yeah.
You are.
We should do better.
So you should lead by example in everything, in our military, in our economy, in education. Just today we're looking at a story where we saw that they are allotting the money being allotted for education is below the benchmark of UNESCO. And so what does that tell? And tomorrow we have more people who are interested in being criminals, in going into kidnapping because it pays better. Because what is happening in the school, they are saying it's easier. You do not have good road to the school. You go into manage and go into the school. There's no light inside. Did you not see the people? There's a story we did not mention, Cynthia. I know we cannot. There's no how Nigeria is a country where things happen every second. So it's hard to couch everything into one. However, remember how JAM turned out this year. Remember that children wrote exams without lights. In the night, still in this country.
To far states.
And so when they say Nigeria is a country of particular concern, I do not think we should take it in bad light. Instead, we should go back to the drawing board and fix the problem.
Yes, we
fix the problem.
Proactive action, really.
Proactive actions, exactly. Not, we are not, you cannot defend that.
Yes.
Show working, show action.
Exactly.
I mean, I could go on and on, but we have to call
show working, show action. I mean, 2025 has been that year, like we said, like I keep on saying since the beginning of this show. it was in this year that Egusi went to space. So many wonderful things happened this year. We've seen, like you mentioned, the Nobel Laureate Awards. So many things happened. It has been a year of upheaval. It has been a year of resilience, a year of innovation, of course. Record-breaking moments like Hida Basi's moment and so many other moments we cannot even remember now to talk about. We've seen from the U.S. politics, global conflicts to, back home here. We've seen homegrown heroes and cultural milestones. We've seen that, a lot of things, and it is clear at this point in time that the world is changing faster than ever before, especially because we're in an innovative world now. We are, we're talking about technology every day, and we know what technology is doing for us. We've talked about how TikTok did their thing. We've talked about how, DeepSeek did their thing. We've talked about down to how somebody of recent is getting married to an AI. That is how the world is changing. But here's the thing, why we can't predict the future, we can learn from it. Yes. Did you have, before we go further, did you have a resolution coming into this year?
Yeah, I did. I don't know if I should call it a resolution, but before I do that, I just wanted to say that here at Idea TV, we had 2 of our colleagues get married this year.
Okay.
So we had that happen. And then here at Idea TV too, we had bulletins being launched. We had over 4 bulletins.
And it is for free.
So we had a lot of things that rolled out here. Marriages, our able videographer, Mr. Gabriel. We also had our able programs person.
Yes, Mrs. Ojima.
Mary.
Am I getting the name correctly?
Yes, you did. Mary Ojimajo.
Yeah.
So things also happened here. While we're celebrating and saying things happened outside, things happened.
We need to clap to that. I think we should have a bell that will be.
Yeah. So now that we don't have a bell, so I just clock it.
So many things, so many expected things, so many unexpected, things. And now 2026 is coming. Do you have a resolution going into 2026 today?
Oh, I do. Oh, you asked? Okay. Okay.
I really look forward to many things.
There are so many, you can't count them. That's why.
Many things, I cannot count them. Innovative things. I just want to grow. Financially, especially.
Oh, everybody wants that one. That's basic for everybody.
Really.
But give it to this money woman. Okay, Chidera wants to, make more money.
More money.
My golden girl, what do you want to make?
Make more direct impacts to lives. Have more outreaches to children, because I'm very concerned about teenagers, about young people, about people living. I do not refer to them as people with disabilities. I call them people with special abilities, because the people you refer to as blind are more sensitive than you are.
Yes.
The people you think do not have legs are more intelligent than you are. So more impact for those people, and just be in good health. Every other thing would happen. I just think every other thing would happen when I'm alive. And so those are the 2 things I'm looking out for. Then as per Idea TV, I'm hoping that 2026 is the year where we finally hit that pinnacle. I feel like we've put in a lot of work, and Idea TV has told the African story for a long time now. And we've done all of that with the resources and the wisdom of our chairman, Professor Solomon Waka. He's put in his blood and sweat into this vision. And I cannot wait to just see it play out. And when I say play out, I mean in terms of proper partnerships that yield results. And because if you ask him, he's doing this for Africa. He's doing it for the passion that he has for Africa. For the young people. And he'll tell you, this is entrepreneurship, this is business. Chinatu, this is, idea. Let's talk idea. Let's talk innovation.
Talk ideas.
So let's talk ideas, and let's see how the ideas transform Africa from here. Yeah.
Okay, from me, I think it's just, let's see how, I think I like that, and I'll hold on to that last one. Let's see how our idea is going to, transform Africa from our own ideas, our own thinking to, idea TV. To
from this studio.
From this studio to the world. And from here, with all of us here on Idea TV, my golden girls, my Amazons.
You said I'm golden girl, she's melanin.
Okay,
stay with that.
My chocolate girl.
Oh, chocolate.
My golden girl, my Amazons.
All right.
Idea TV Amazons. And me, Cynthia, the lady with no AKA. Okay, you've seen how we're thanking our viewers as well too. Yes, they have been with us from the start.
Great people.
They have rode with us through the highs and lows, and everything in between. Let's
We're celebrating our viewers. The ones who follow us on TikTok, connect to us on Instagram, connect to us on Facebook, on YouTube. Our YouTube is doing well.
Yes.
We are on a lot of free-to-air decoders and other decoders, and we are doing. The numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. So this is even why our viewers should not just watch this, but they must come in and advertise with us, because we have that reach. And our reach is not Nigeria. Idea TV is not Nigeria. It's very pan-African.
Exactly.
And from that place, we are talking global. We are talking about a global status quo. So this is why you should put in your money here, because this is where your mouth is, as long as Africa is concerned. So bring those adverts. Let's do all of that work together in 2026.
What we want to see. How else, if not to put it in Africa? So this is how we say goodbye 2025. Yes. Yes. This is how we say goodbye 2025. And